Top diplomats from the US and Russia have met for more than 4 hours in Saudi Arabia as they work to restore ties between the two nations and begin negotiating an end to the war in Ukraine. Our Global Affairs editor, John Lyons, is with me in the studio now. John, good morning. Thank you so much for your time, as always. Can you take us through what do we know about this meeting and what potential options are on the table here?
Well, Mel, firstly, it's extraordinary when you think where this relationship was between Russia and the United States only a few weeks ago. The fact that they are now meeting in Saudi Arabia, essentially to, it looks like Ukraine's obviously central to that, but the Russians are making clear that they see it as much more than Ukraine. I mean, they're playing down Ukraine. They are saying, the Kremlin said the other day that these talks will be devoted primarily to restoring the entire complex of Russian-American relations. And so we're sort of seeing, in a way, Ukraine is sort of being cast to the side while Donald Trump is driving this desire to want to normalise relations with Russia and to resume a relationship with Vladimir Putin. Now they're talking about a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump, within the next few weeks. But the scenes we're seeing are quite extraordinary. The dramatic change in the relationship.
Yeah, this is absolutely a significant policy shift for the United States. What does this mean for the US's relationship, not only with Ukraine, but also with sort of Europe as a whole?
Well, what we're seeing now is quite a serious split, a genuine rift between Europe and the United States. And they've always been very, very close, of course, the US and the European Union. But we're now seeing Europe increasingly alienated. We saw Emmanuel Macron, the French president, convening that emergency meeting of European leaders. We're seeing Sir Keir Starmer in Britain saying we will send troops as part of a peacekeeping operation to Ukraine. We're now seeing Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian leader, has just been up to Turkey to have a meeting with Recep Tayyip Erdogan. So yet again, even as we're not even into the 4 weeks yet of Donald Trump's second term, we're seeing the entire global situation thrown into the air.
What's the significance of Ukraine not being involved in this conversation?
It's serious. I mean, Ukraine is trying to make the best of it as they have the war for the last 3 years. But from Ukraine's point of view, as Volodymyr Zelensky said, he's been learning about a lot of this from the media. Apart from anything, it just seems to me very disrespectful the way they are treating Volodymyr Zelensky, the way Donald Trump's White House is. Not only is, I think, it sort of misguided, because if you're going to get a deal to end a war, surely you want both sides and all the key players to agree to the deal. Now, this war in Ukraine is going on in the heart of Europe. So, of course, you need to have European countries to sign off on it. Yet European countries and Ukraine itself are being pushed to the side as Donald Trump pursues his desire to resume a relationship with Vladimir Putin.
Volodymyr Zelensky has been talking about how he would not agree to anything that Ukraine is not directly involved in. So realistically, what could things look like if agreements are made between the US and Russia without Ukraine's input? Well,
President Trump has said under questioning that that Ukraine will be involved at some point. What seems to be happening is the Russians and the Americans appear to be trying to work out their framework of a deal, and then that will be put to Ukraine. That appears to be what's going on at the moment.
And how quickly do you think we could see these conversations escalate?
Well, the American and Russian officials are suggesting a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump within weeks. That would most likely be in Saudi Arabia, where there will not be arrest warrants executed for Putin for war crimes. So it looks like that meeting could happen within 4 or 5 weeks. An extraordinary meeting that would be.
Absolutely. John Lyons, appreciate your insights as always.